Welcome to the channel. I am a doctor, and today I'll talk about seniors. Stop drinking this every morning. It damages your heart slowly. The morning routine is a sacred ritual for many seniors, a time of quiet reflection or gentle preparation for the day ahead. Yet within this ritual lies a hidden danger that millions of people over the age of 60 overlook every single day. While we are often told to stay hydrated and to jumpstart our metabolism, the specific liquids we choose to consume on an empty stomach can have a profound and cumulative impact on cardiovascular health. As the body ages, the heart muscle and the vascular system become increasingly sensitive to rapid shifts in blood chemistry, glycemic load, and synthetic additives. What might have been a harmless beverage in one's youth can become a silent catalyst for arterial stiffness, heart palpitations, and chronic hypertension in later years. The medical community is observing a concerning trend where the very drinks marketed as healthy or energizing are actually placing a disproportionate strain on the aging myocardium. Understanding the relationship between early morning consumption and long-term cardiac integrity is essential for anyone looking to maintain their independence and vitality well into their 80s and 90s. The heart is a mechanical pump that requires stability, but many popular morning beverages provide the exact opposite, a chaotic surge of stimulants and metabolic disruptors that damage the heart slowly, one morning at a time. The primary culprit often found in the mugs of seniors is the excessive consumption of highly concentrated caffeinated energy drinks or over-extracted dark roasts that are loaded with synthetic creamers and refined sugars. While a single cup of black coffee has documented benefits, the modern trend toward enhanced morning beverages is where the danger lies. For a senior, the heart's electrical system is more prone to arrhythmias, such as atrial fibrillation. When a concentrated dose of caffeine hits an empty stomach, it is absorbed almost instantly, causing a rapid spike in cortisol and adrenaline. This sudden fight-or-flight response forces the heart to contract more forcefully and at a higher frequency before the body has even had a chance to properly hydrate or stabilize its blood pressure after a night of rest. Over years, this daily jolt contributes to the thickening of the left ventricle wall, a condition known as left ventricular hypertrophy, which significantly increases the risk of heart failure. Furthermore, the additives found in many non-dairy creamers, specifically hydrogenated oils and corn syrup solids, are notorious for promoting systemic inflammation and damaging the delicate endothelial lining of the coronary arteries. Beyond stimulants, the most insidious morning habit for seniors is the consumption of large quantities of fruit juice, particularly those that have been processed and stripped of their natural fiber. Many seniors grew up believing that a large glass of orange or grapefruit juice was the gold standard of a healthy breakfast. But modern nutritional science has revealed a darker reality for the aging heart. When you drink juice without the fiber of the whole fruit, you are essentially consuming a concentrated dose of liquid sugar. This triggers a massive insulin spike. Insulin is not just a blood sugar regulator. It is a powerful growth hormone that, in high amounts, causes the kidneys to retain sodium and the smooth muscle cells in the arterial walls to proliferate. This leads to increased peripheral resistance and higher blood pressure. For a senior whose arteries are already less elastic, these daily insulin surges act like a slow-motion hammer, hardening the vessels and forcing the heart to work harder with every beat. This process, known as atherosclerosis, is often asymptomatic until it reaches a critical stage, making the morning juice habit a silent contributor to cardiovascular decay. Another beverage that seniors must strictly avoid in the morning is any form of diet or artificially sweetened soda or flavored water. The misconception that sugar-free equals heart-healthy is one of the most damaging myths in geriatric nutrition. Artificial sweeteners, particularly erythritol and aspartame, have been increasingly linked in clinical studies to an elevated risk of blood clots, stroke, and myocardial infarction. In the morning, when the blood is naturally more viscous due to overnight dehydration, introducing these synthetic compounds can alter the gut microbiome in ways that promote the production of TMAO, a metabolite that is directly linked to the formation of arterial plaque. Furthermore, the intense sweetness of these chemicals confuses the body's metabolic signaling, often leading to increased cravings for high-sodium foods later in the day, which further complicates blood pressure management. The heart requires pure, unadulterated hydration to maintain the proper volume of blood, and artificial sweeteners provide a chemical complexity that the aging liver and kidneys struggle to clear, leading to systemic stress that eventually settles in the cardiovascular system. One must also consider the hidden dangers of instant breakfast shakes and meal replacement drinks that are often marketed specifically to the elderly for weight maintenance and convenience. While they claim to provide complete nutrition, these products are frequently loaded with maltodextrin and industrial seed oils like soybean or canola oil. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which, when consumed in excess and without the balance of omega-3s, create a pro-inflammatory environment in the body. For a senior, chronic inflammation is the fuel for heart disease. When the lining of the heart and the valves are constantly exposed to inflammatory markers, they begin to calcify and lose their flexibility. The morning consumption of these highly processed shakes ensures that the body starts the day in a state of oxidative stress. The heart, which consumes more energy per gram than any other organ, is particularly susceptible to the mitochondrial damage caused by these oxidized industrial fats. By choosing convenience over real food, seniors are inadvertently trading their long-term cardiac health for a few minutes of save time in the kitchen. The timing of consumption is just as critical as the content of the drink itself. Drinking these metabolic disruptors within the first hour of waking is particularly damaging because the body is in a natural state of transition. During sleep, our blood pressure drops and our heart rate slows. As we wake, the body naturally increases its blood pressure through a process called the morning surge. Adding a chemical or glycemic surge on top of this natural physiological rise is like redlining a car engine before the oil has had a chance to circulate. For a heart that has been beating for 60, 70, or 80 years, this lack of a warm-up period is a recipe for long-term structural damage. Geriatricians are now recommending a hydration window of at least 30 minutes where only pure, room-temperature water is consumed. This allows the blood volume to stabilize and the kidneys to begin their filtration process without the interference of sugars, stimulants, or synthetic additives. Furthermore, the interaction between morning beverages and common senior medications cannot be ignored. Many seniors take beta blockers, ACE inhibitors, or diuretics to manage heart conditions. Drinking beverages high in potassium-masking sugars or calcium-binding phosphates, often found in processed fortified drinks, can significantly alter the efficacy of these life-saving drugs. For instance, the furanocoumarins in certain juices can inhibit the enzymes that break down statins, leading to dangerously high levels of the medication in the bloodstream, which can actually cause muscle weakness and heart stress. The morning beverage is not consumed in a vacuum. It enters a complex chemical environment where it can either support or sabotage a senior's entire medical regimen. This is why the slow damage often goes unnoticed by both the patient and the physician, as it is masked by the very medications intended to treat the heart. This cumulative damage is often exacerbated by the silent threat of chronic dehydration, which is rampant among the elderly population. After a night of sleep, the body is naturally depleted of fluids. When a senior introduces a diuretic beverage, such as caffeine or a high-sugar juice, immediately upon waking, they are forcing the heart to pump a thicker, more viscous volume of blood through a vascular system that is already struggling with age-related narrowing. This increased viscosity creates friction against the arterial walls, a mechanical stressor that triggers the release of inflammatory cytokines. These cytokines signal the body to deposit more cholesterol and calcium into the vessel walls as a patching mechanism, paradoxically accelerating the very blockages that lead to heart attacks. By failing to prioritize pure water as the first intake of the day, seniors are essentially operating their most vital organ in a state of high friction, leading to premature wear and tear that no amount of late-day exercise can fully rectify. We must also examine the neurological connection to cardiac health in the morning. The gut-heart-brain axis is highly active during the waking hours. When synthetic sweeteners or processed additives found in modern morning drinks enter the digestive tract, they trigger an immediate response from the vagus nerve. For a senior, this nerve sensitivity can lead to sudden drops in blood pressure followed by reactive spikes, a phenomenon known as blood pressure lability. This constant seesawing of pressure is exhausting for the heart muscle and can lead to micro tears in the delicate vessels of the brain, increasing the risk of vascular dementia alongside heart disease. The heart does not exist in isolation. It is the rhythmic center of a complex neurological web. By bombarding this web with chemical signals before the body has achieved metabolic stasis, seniors are subjecting themselves to a form of internal noise that disrupts the natural harmony required for long-term health. The exhalation of 2026 brings a renewed focus on the biohacking trends that have unfortunately infiltrated the senior market. Many older adults are being told to add fats like butter or coconut oil to their morning coffee under the guise of sustained energy. However, for a senior with a baseline level of arterial plaque, this sudden influx of saturated fats on an empty stomach can lead to postprandial lipemia, a state where the blood becomes clouded with fat particles for several hours. This cloudy blood is significantly harder for the heart to circulate and can interfere with the exchange of oxygen at the cellular level. For an aging myocardium that already has a diminished oxygen supply, this morning fat bomb can trigger silent ischemia, periods where the heart muscle is starved of oxygen without the warning sign of chest pain. This is the definition of slow damage. A series of invisible events that culminate in a sudden, catastrophic cardiac event. Ultimately, the path to a stronger heart after 60 begins with an audit of the medicine cabinet and the pantry, but most importantly, the morning cup. Subtracting the liquid stressors is often more powerful than adding any new supplement. The heart is a remarkably resilient organ, capable of self-repair and adaptation even in later life, provided it is given the right environment. By stopping the consumption of heart-damaging morning drinks, seniors can lower their systemic inflammation, stabilize their blood pressure, and reduce the workload on their heart muscle. This shift requires a departure from the convenience-driven, marketing-heavy culture of modern nutrition and a return to the fundamentals of biological stability. The goal is to wake up and support the body's natural rhythm, not to override it with a chemical surge. Longevity is not just about the number of years lived, but the quality of the function within those years. A heart that is not constantly battered by morning spikes is a heart that can sustain a person through the joys of grandparenthood, travel, and active hobbies. The doctor's warning against these specific beverages is a call to mindfulness. Every sip taken on an empty stomach is a direct message to your cardiovascular system. Make sure that message is one of hydration and peace, not of stress and inflammation. Respect the age and the service of your heart by protecting it during its most vulnerable time of day. Your heart has spent a lifetime taking care of you. It is time, in these golden years, to return the favor by choosing simplicity over chemistry every single morning. This small change in the morning ritual can be the difference between a future of medical intervention and a future of vibrant, heart-healthy independence. By reclaiming the first hour of the day, you are reclaiming the health of your most vital organ. Choose water, choose whole foods, and choose to give your heart the gentle start it deserves. The resilience of the cardiovascular system is dependent on the integrity of the microscopic capillaries and the flexibility of the larger conduits. When we flood these systems with the high-fructose corn syrup or the aspartame found in many morning health drinks, we are effectively coating our internal machinery in a layer of metabolic sludge. For the senior, this sludge leads to the slow damage of microvascular disease, which can affect not just the heart, but the brain and the eyes as well. The heart is the center of this web, and when it struggles to push blood through narrowed, stiffened vessels, the entire body suffers. This is why the morning beverage choice is a whole-body health decision. It is the first and most important choice you make for your longevity each day. Stay vigilant, stay informed, And remember that the most energizing thing you can provide your heart is a clean, hydrated, and stable environment to do its essential work. This is the secret to a long life and a heart that stays strong until the very last beat. By rejecting the quick fix mentality of modern morning beverages, you are investing in the long-term stability of your biological infrastructure. The transition from sleep to wakefulness should be an act of grace, not an act of aggression against your own physiology. As you move forward into your 60s and beyond, let your morning cup reflect the wisdom of your years. Let it be a source of true nourishment, one that prioritizes the quiet, steady beat of a healthy heart over the fleeting, damaging rush of a chemical stimulant. Your future is written in the liquids you choose today. Choose wisely for the sake of your heart, your mind, and your enduring vitality. The slow damage can be stopped, and in its place, a slow, steady restoration of health can begin, starting with the very next sunrise and the very first glass of water you pour. The psychological dimension of these habits must also be addressed. Many seniors find comfort in the ritual of a sweet or caffeinated morning drink precisely because it provides a temporary relief from the fatigue or low mood that can sometimes accompany the aging process. This creates a dependency cycle. The morning beverage provides a short-term dopamine and adrenaline boost, but it leaves the cardiovascular system in a state of exhaustion, leading to deeper fatigue the following day. Breaking this cycle requires more than just willpower. It requires an understanding that true vitality is generated from the inside out, through cellular oxygenation and efficient nutrient delivery, not through external chemical prodding. When you replace that damaging beverage with a ritual of deep breathing and pure hydration, you are retraining your nervous system to operate at a higher, more sustainable frequency. Furthermore, we must confront the influence of sensory marketing. The mouthfeel and aroma of processed morning drinks are engineered to bypass our rational decision-making centers. For a senior who may live alone or have a reduced social circle, these sensory experiences can become a surrogate for comfort. However, the price of this comfort is paid in arterial health. To counter this, one can cultivate new sensory rituals that support the heart rather than harm it. A warm infusion of ginger or lemon, for example, provides a sensory kick that actually aids digestion and thins the blood naturally, without the insulin spiking or stimulant-heavy consequences of industrial alternatives. These natural choices respect the biological tempo of the body and encourage a gentle awakening of the metabolism. In the realm of preventative cardiology, the focus is often on high-intensity interventions, but the real victories are won in the mundane moments of the early morning. If every senior across the globe shifted their first-hour intake away from these destructive liquids, the burden on our global healthcare systems would diminish significantly. Strokes, heart attacks, and heart failure are often the grand finale of a long-running performance of micro-insults. By silencing the morning metabolic noise, you are effectively rewriting the script of your later years. You are choosing a path of resilience, where your heart remains an unburdened partner in your adventures. Consider also the impact on your sleep quality. What you drink in the morning sets the tone for your circadian rhythm. High sugar and high caffeine starts lead to afternoon crashes and disrupted evening melatonin production. For a senior, sleep is the primary time for cardiac repair. A heart that has been overstimulated all day cannot enter the deep, restorative, rest and digest state required to patch its own fibers. By simplifying your morning, you are actually improving your night. This holistic view of health recognizes that every hour of the day is connected to the next. Your morning glass of water is, in many ways, your first step toward a peaceful, restorative night's sleep. As we look toward the middle of this decade, the tools for monitoring our own health have become more sophisticated. Seniors today can track their heart rate variability and blood pressure with unprecedented ease. If you were to track these metrics after a week of eliminating damaging morning drinks, the data would likely show a significant improvement in your autonomic nervous system's balance. Your body is constantly communicating with you through these signals. All it asks is that you listen and respond with the care and respect that 60 plus years of living have earned you. The final pillar of heart health in the morning is the rejection of the more is better philosophy. In a society that demands constant productivity and high energy, we often feel the need to supercharge our mornings.